Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a TV review. We're going to be having a look at Community Season 4, Episode 3. Now, this episode, the majority of the action actually takes place not in the community college for a change, which is quite nice. So it's nice to have a bit of a change of scenery, very much like last episode. So this season, maybe it looks like it's mixing things up. I was trying to mix things up a little bit more. And I quite enjoyed this episode. It mainly focuses on a convention on the TV show that they're watching, which is obviously based on Doctor Who, Inspector Spacetime, as it's known in the Community universe. So obviously you've got Troy and Abed very, very excited to go to this community, and they sort of drag everyone there, apart from Shirley and Pierce, who aren't invited basically because they're old. Although I wonder, well, Jeff's apparently the same age as Shirley anyway, but he's only invited. Now, as you can expect, the convention itself is quite fun. Obviously, it's a made up subject matter, so but it's kind of fun to sort of see everyone. And it does kind of look like an actual convention. I think it's quite well done. The main, I guess, plot of this one is you've got basically the bromance with Abed and Troy sort of being threatened by a guy played by Matt Lucas, who from Little Britain here in the UK, and he's basically been emailing Abed, and they've been talking about Inspector Spacetime, because Abed's been sort of seeing Britta on the side, and so this has given Abed a little bit more time to sort of expand his social circle, as he says, and he's been chatting to this other guy, and it's almost presented like this Matt Lucas's character is trying to sort of steal Abed away and kind of have him as a friend and destroy the bromance. And it's quite nice. Britta is quite good in this episode. She's kind of very, very understanding of Troy's bromance with Abed, and she's very supportive of it, which is quite fun. And I thought she was kind of cute in this episode. I quite liked her. It's quite fun. There's some quite funny scenes actually where Britta and Annie have obviously, and to be fair, Jeff as well, have obviously got dragged to this place, and to be you kind of got to love Britta and Annie because they kind of just go with the flow. Jeff doesn't really want to be there, and he just kind of finds an excuse to leave. But I did like sort of Britta's enthusiasm about just kind of like going with the flow with her man, which I thought was kind of it's quite sweet really. And you've got Troy freaking out because he feels like he's losing Abed. I didn't think the Abed scenes with Matt Lucas were all that particularly good. I don't think Abed particularly has been written all that well this season, but I kind of enjoyed everyone else's arc on this one. You've got these sort of like a war of the minds between Abed and the character played by Matt Lucas and Abed figures out that he's kind of basically trying to sort of almost cause a rift between him and Troy, and Matt Lucas locks Abed in one of the sort of like the police boxes, which is obviously going to be a sort of reference to a TARDIS. As well as that, you've got Annie decides to go up to the hotel room because he has a bit of a spat with Jeff, and while she does, she kind of starts to fantasize a little bit about what life potentially would be like married to Jeff, and I think they're quite a good couple as well. I actually much prefer Jeff with Annie than I do with Jeff and Britta. So even though there's obviously going to be quite the characters have quite a big age difference, I still think they're quite cute together, just like Britta and Troy are. I mean, to be fair, that plot point maybe isn't quite as interesting as the conference scenes, but I quite find it's quite a cute episode, really. Once again, it seems like Pierce and Shirley have been shunted a little bit in this season. Every episode, they seem to have considerably less to do, and they end up turning up at this this convention. There is quite a funny reference though. They get pulled into some sort of market research for an American TV version of Inspector Spacetime that they're kind of doing some market research, and it's obviously meant to comment on how American television takes sort of British TV shows and kind of changes them to fit to an American audience, and it's quite funny. And Pierce suggested they put a leggy blonde and stuff in there. you know, and while Shirley's kind of trying to say, well, don't, you know, why don't you just remake it like the sort of British shows do? There's obviously been a bit of a commentary about what's actually happening with all these sort of like American remakes of British shows. You know, I'm not saying I agree with that. I actually do enjoy some American remakes of British shows, but you know, it was quite an amusing comment. But you know, it's a fairly decent episode. I quite enjoyed it. I don't think it was quite as strong as last one, but you know, I enjoyed it enough. I certainly don't think the first episode of this season wasn't very good at all. But I'm quite glad. It seems to have kind of maybe found its feet a little bit again. I'm a little bit concerned, obviously, that they're kind of pretty much writing out, it seems like, Piers Hawthorne and Shirley, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm guessing they might have an episode more dedicated to their characters a little bit later, but we'll see. You haven't got the Dean in this episode at all. Neither of you got Ken Chung. I forget the character's name now. He's not in it. He's not in here either. So I'll give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Quite enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And did you enjoy Dr. Spacetime? Look forward to seeing you later.